The Vatican, a place steeped in tradition, a fortress of faith, is no stranger to change. Yet even within those ancient walls, a tremor of surprise, a ripple of anticipation has followed the ascension of Pope Tagle. His papacy, still in its infancy, has already sent shockwaves through the Catholic world. The reason? A decree, bold and unexpected, signaling a new era for the Church. Tagle, the smiling Pope from the East, is not known for his radical pronouncements. His warmth, his humility have endeared him to millions, but beneath that gentle demeanor lies a steely resolve, a commitment to reform that is now impossible to ignore. The decree, issued with quiet authority, focuses on two pillars of the Church, the Dicastery for Evangelization and Caritas Internationalis. The changes, sweeping in their scope, touch upon the very heart of the Church's mission, spreading the gospel and serving the poor. They are not mere administrative tweaks. They are a fundamental reassessment of how the Church operates on the world stage. A new direction, a bold vision is emerging from the Vatican, and the world watches with bated breath. The Dicastery for Evangelization, a powerful arm of the Vatican, responsible for spreading the faith across the globe, finds itself at the heart of Tagle's reforms. For decades, it has operated with a certain degree of autonomy, its decisions often echoing the centralized power structure of the Vatican. But Tagle's decree has upended that paradigm. No longer will the dicastery function as a distant, centralized authority, dictating terms to local churches. Tagle's vision emphasizes decentralization, a sharing of power that empowers local communities to take ownership of their evangelical efforts. Resources once tightly controlled will now flow more freely to the peripheries, to those regions where the light of faith burns dimmest. This radical shift in approach reflects Tagle's deep-seated belief in the power of local churches. He understands that the gospel message resonates most effectively when delivered by those who understand the local culture, the local challenges, the local hopes and dreams. His decree is a testament to that understanding, a bold step towards empowering the peripheries and fostering a more vibrant, more responsive church. Caritas Internationalis, the Vatican's charitable arm, a beacon of hope for the world's poor and marginalized, has also undergone a dramatic transformation under Tagle's decree. The organization, long plagued by allegations of mismanagement and inefficiency, is being rebuilt from the ground up. Tagle's decree, while acknowledging the organization's past struggles, emphasizes its vital importance to the Church's mission. It calls for a complete overhaul of Caritas's structure, introducing greater transparency, accountability, and efficiency. The goal is to create a leaner, more responsive organization, one that is better equipped to address the complex challenges facing the world's most vulnerable populations. But Tagle's vision for Caritas extends beyond mere structural reform. He envisions an organization deeply rooted in the principles of Catholic social teaching, an organization that not only provides aid but also empowers communities, challenges injustice, and promotes human dignity. It is a vision that places Caritas at the forefront of the Church's social mission, transforming it into a powerful force for good in a world desperately in need of compassion and solidarity. The boldness of Tagle's reforms, their emphasis on decentralization, dialogue, and a more engaged laity, has inevitably drawn comparisons to the Second Vatican Council. That historic gathering, held in the 1960s, ushered in an era of unprecedented change for the Catholic Church, opening its doors to the modern world and redefining its relationship with other faiths. Tagle, a man deeply formed by the spirit of Vatican II, has often spoken of the need to return to the Council's vision, to rediscover its radical call for renewal and reform. His decree, in many ways, can be seen as an attempt to breathe new life into that vision, to translate its lofty ideals into concrete action. The parallels are striking. Like Vatican II, Tagle's reforms emphasize the importance of collegiality, of bishops working together in a spirit of unity and shared responsibility. They call for a church that is more engaged with the world, more responsive to the needs of the poor and marginalized, and they stress the vital role of the laity, empowering them to take an active part in the Church's mission. Whispers in the Synod. The timing of Tagle's decree is significant. It comes at a time when the Church is engaged in a global synodal process, a journey of listening and dialogue that has revealed a deep yearning for change within the Catholic community. The Synod on Synodality, as it is known, has provided a platform for Catholics from all walks of life to share their hopes, their concerns, and their vision for the future of the Church. And one theme that has emerged with striking clarity is a desire for a more decentralized, more participatory church, a church that empowers the laity and listens to the voices of those on the margins. Tagle, a keen observer of the synodal process, is clearly listening to these voices. His decree, with its emphasis on decentralization, lay involvement, and a more collaborative approach to decision-making, seems to reflect the spirit of the Synod, the desire for a church that is more synodal in its very essence. A Cardinal's conviction. What drives Cardinal Tagle's reformist zeal? His unshakable faith and deep commitment to the gospel. Tagle's faith is a lived reality, rooted in his experiences of poverty and God's love. Growing up in the Philippines, he saw the struggles of the poor. He saw the Church offering hope, but also its limitations. These experiences shaped his vision for a compassionate Church. Tagle believes the Church must champion justice and hope for the marginalized. His reforms are driven by this unwavering belief in the gospel's power. The legacy of reform. Tagle's reforms, while groundbreaking, are not without precedent. The Catholic Church has a long history of reform. From Gregory the Great in the 6th century to the Council of Trent in the 16th century and the Second Vatican Council in the 20th century, the Church has sought to renew itself, to adapt to changing circumstances, and to better fulfill its mission. Yet, Tagle's reforms feel different. They come at a time of great upheaval and uncertainty, both within the Church and in the wider world. The Church faces many challenges, from declining mass attendance to the rise of secularism and the ongoing clergy abuse crisis. The world grapples with pandemics, climate change, and political polarization. In this context of crisis, Tagle's reforms offer hope. They suggest a way forward, embracing change and empowering the laity, focusing on proclaiming the gospel and serving the poor. Whether these reforms will revitalize the Church and restore its credibility remains to be seen. A world divided. The reaction to Tagle's reforms has been swift and divided. Within the Church, his pronouncements have been met with a mixture of excitement, apprehension, and outright opposition. Progressive Catholics, long clamoring for change, have hailed Tagle as a visionary leader, a pope who understands the need for a more inclusive and dialogue-oriented Church. Conservative Catholics, on the other hand, have expressed deep reservations about Tagle's reforms, fearing that they represent a dangerous departure from tradition and a weakening of the Church's moral authority. Some have accused Tagle of being too accommodating to the secular world, of watering down the Church's teachings in an attempt to appease a modern audience. The global response to Tagle's reforms has mirrored the divisions within the Church. In many parts of the developing world, particularly in Africa and Asia, where the Catholic Church is experiencing significant growth, Tagle's emphasis on decentralization and local empowerment has been welcomed. In these regions, where the Church is often seen as a vital source of social services and a champion of the poor, Tagle's message of compassion and solidarity has resonated deeply. The future of faith. Pope Tagle's decree, a lightning bolt in the hallowed halls of the Vatican, has left the Catholic world in a state of suspenseful anticipation. It is a moment pregnant with possibility, a time when the weight of history intersects with the unpredictable currents of change. The Church, that ancient vessel of faith, finds itself at a crossroads, its future course uncertain, yet strangely exhilarating. Will Tagle's vision of a more decentralized, more engaged, more synodal Church take root and flourish? Or will it be stifled by the weight of tradition, the resistance of those who cling to the old ways? The answer, of course, lies in the hands of millions of Catholics worldwide. Will they embrace the challenge of reform, the call to build a more just, more compassionate, more Christ-like world? One thing is certain: the Catholic Church, under Pope Tagle's leadership, is no longer content with the status quo. A new chapter is being written, and the world watches with bated breath to see what the future holds for this ancient faith in the 21st century. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.